So in this video, I'll be showing us how to cut and sew our shift dress. So this is the fabric sticker I'm using for it. So this is the Ankara I'll be using for it. Then I have about 2 yards of yellow crepe. And then for this, I intended adding it at the down part of the cloth after sewing, but later I changed my mind. So you can see the way the cloth is. I'm trying to fold it. I'm cutting the front and the back panel together. So after folding it, I folded it again. You can see the way it is. So make sure you just arrange it properly. Arrange it, make sure that they are aligned. If you need to use an office pin to hold it, please make sure you do that. So after that, I'm marking a borderline, that's a starting point. So the next is to take note of my hip line. So from my shoulder to my hip is 25 inches. So I'm going to note it. I'll also come to the other end and do that. I just want to make sure that my line is straight. So I'll connect it. So this is my hip line. So the next is to get the full length of the dress. So depending on how long or short you want yours to be, it all depends on you. So for my length, I'm using 41 inches. And I also added 2 inch for hemming allowance. So I'm also doing the same at the other side, 41 and then 2 inch for the hemming. So I use my ruler to connect it. So this is the full length of the dress, and then the second line is for the hemming. So after that, I'm going to use my scissors to cut off the excess and then just keep it aside. For this dress, I'm going to cut the sleeve together with the dress. So what you need to do is just to, from the center of your neck to where you want your sleeve to stop, you measure it. For mine, it's 15 inches. And the 15 inches is at the extreme end of the place I folded. You can see where I'm pointing. So that's just it. So I will mark 3 inch standard because I want to get my shoulder slope. So I will come down by 1.5 inch. Then where I marked my 3 inch and where I came down by 1.5, I'm going to connect them to have the shoulder slope. So after that, I'll mark my neckline. The width of my neckline is 3 inch, and then the depth for the front is 7.5. And then the depth for the back is 1.5 inches. So take note, I used width 3 inch, depth for the front is 7.5, and for the back is 1.5 inches. So depending on how you want your neck to be, for mine the front is going to be a V-neck, and then the back is just a round neck. So that's just that. I went ahead to use my cord ruler to connect it. So after that, this is what I have. So the next thing is I'm going to come to my hip line. My hip is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So I added 2 inch. You know, this shift dress is not going to be fitted. I want it to be a little bit free. So I added 2, which is a total of 12 inches. So I'm going to also mark that same 12 inches down. Depending on how many inch you want to add, like how free you want your clothes to be, you can decide to add 2, 3, 4. It all depends on you, how you want yours to be. So I'm going to connect it, use my ruler to connect it where I mark that 12 inches. So for my round sleeve is 9. It also depends how you want your sleeve to be. Mine it's 9. So I marked 9 inch and then came in a little bit. You can see it, 9 inches. So the next thing is, remember I'm using 12 inch. So I'm going to take note of that. I just want to have a straight line. So I'm trying to make sure that my line is accurate for me to have a straight line. So after connecting it, I'll just go ahead and where I drew for my round sleeve, I'll just connect it to that line. So you know, of course, I have to curve it. Just give it a very good shape. Just curve it a little bit. So that's just that. So the next is just for me to go ahead and cut. So after cutting, this is what I have. Next is to go ahead and I'm cutting the back neckline first. You know, the front neckline depth is different from the back. So I'm cutting the back neckline first. Then I was supposed to open up that place. You know, I used the edge too. So I was supposed to open up that edge. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to arrange it, cut it, then before I remove that of the back. So I remove that of the back and then I'm left with that of the front. So I'll go ahead and cut that of the front, cut the neckline for the front. Like I said earlier, remember I'm using a width of 3 and a depth of 7.5. So that's that. So we have our front panel and our back panel. Then take note of the back panel and the front panel. Just use your chalk to mark at the back panel. So this is our front panel. What you have to do is take note of the midpoint. There are several ways to do that. Just measure it and divide it by 2. Measure the width of the dress and divide it by 2. Or you just fold it and then press. That mark where you press, like, and you'll be able to know where the center is. This is going to help you when attaching your fabric sticker. You don't want it to be at one side. So that's just it. So here I'm trying to draw a line. And the line I'm drawing is at the wrong side of the fabric. You can also decide to just fold it and press. So that's just that. So what I'm going to do next is just to come down by 3, mark it. I came down by 3, mark it, and then I will now place my fabric sticker. You can either use a parchment paper, that's a baking paper, or an A4 paper, but I will go with a baking paper. Sorry for the poor lighting here. So the next is just go ahead and press the sticker to the dress. Like I said earlier, I came down by 3, depending on how you want yours to be. But for mine, I came down by 3. Taking note of where I press. It's either you press it to know the middle, or use your chalk to draw at the back for you to know the middle. Also, take note of the midpoint of the fabric, of the sticker. I mean, of the sticker. So you can see it. I'm just trying to make sure that I place the sticker accurately. Then next, I went ahead, used the baking paper, place it on top, and then start pressing. Please let the iron not be let it not be too high and too low, just somewhere in between. Just somewhere in between. And then you gently press it. You can see the way it is. Just gently press it. You can press a little bit and check if it's actually, sticking to the clothes. When pressing and you raise it and you see that it didn't stick properly to the cloth, just keep it down again press and press again. You can see it. So after pressing, please allow it to cool down. Don't remove the paper immediately. No, allow it to cool down before you start removing the paper. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to press it and it sticked properly to the fabric. So that's just that. You can see the way it is. You can see how beautiful it is. I've also gone ahead to turn the neckline with the fabric. You can see it. I turned it using the fabric. You can actually do this with your bias, but I feel it's more beautiful when you go ahead and turn it with the fabric. So that's just it. You can see that of the back. I've also turned it. I use the fabric to do it. I want to show us something. How to press your shift dress if you should attach a sticker to it. You see this place I'm pointing at where that sticker did not appear, that little part. Please, I was just lucky. After removing the paper, I wanted to press directly on the sticker. That was how that part removed. So please, Just anytime you want to press, turn it at the back, that's the wrong side of the fabric, and press. Do not press directly on the sticker. And you don't use washing machine to wash this, you use your hands to wash it. So this is the bow tie I'll be placing at the head of the sticker. So what I have here is 15 and a half, and then for this other side I have 14 and a half. That's what I have after sewing the 4 edges. So this is for the bow tie. Then for the other, that's the down part. That's the down part. The tree, the sizes of the tree, they are all the same. So after sewing the 4 edges, I have 26 inches, and then the length is 6.5 inches. So that's just that. So this way I'm going to place it. Like I said earlier, this is for the bow tie. Just make sure you fold it properly and then attach it. Just arrange it the way you want it to be. Use your pin to hold it down and then sew. I also cut out a little piece of the fabric that I'm going to use to hold the center so that it will be in place. Just arrange it the way you want it to be and then use your pin to hold it down and sew. Then for the down part, what you have to do is just run a loose stitch at one of the edges, then gather it and then attach it. Just do that. Use your pin to hold it down how you want it to be, and then go to the sewing machine and sew it. I've placed the first one, and then the second one you will still do the same. Run a loose stitch at one of the edge, gather it, and then place it on the fabric the way you want it to be. Use your pin to hold it. Go to the sewing machine and sew it. Also for the last one, the last but not the least, you do the same. Run a loose stitch, gather it, place it the way you want it to be, and then just use your office pin to hold it down, and then go to the sewing machine and sew it. So that is just that. So after that, after sewing it, just bring the back panel, place it right side facing the right side, and then you just join them, just sew it. So after sewing, this is what we have. You can see how beautiful it is. You can see how beautiful it is. So in the next video, I'll be showing us how to insert our inseam pocket for this shift dress. So let's go there.